I'm going to show one more selection technique, and I'm going to use this photograph from Good Stock Photos, and I want to cut out one of these leaves. This is actually a pretty good website. It doesn't have a really big archive, but the images that they do have are pretty good quality, and there's quite a few different categories. You might be able to find something here to use, okay? I have this already in Photoshop, so let me just go to it. There it is. And this time I'm going to demonstrate a layer mask. And a lot of people like working with layer masks, and you'll see why in a second. If you haven't worked with a layer mask, then you might want to. This is really good for cutting out little elements. So I'm going to cut out this leaf up here, okay? Essentially, the first thing you do is you need to have some kind of a selection. So you can either work with the lasso tool and go just make a selection, something like that. I always use the lasso tool because I love the lasso tool. But you can also grab the quick selection tool and then just look at that. That's a pretty good selection. It's not perfect though. That would be fine to work with as well. And then once you have your basic selection, you just go to your layers menu and add layer mask. And then from there, I think it's really useful to zoom in. From there, you'll see that regardless of what colors you had selected here, black conceals and white reveals. So at some point, if I cut too much, I can just go and switch to white, and then you can paint back the detail. So that's the nice thing about working with a mask, is it's forgiving. If you cut something out, then you can easily go back and retrieve it. All right? You're just kind of painting away or painting in detail, depending on what you need to do. But that's kind of the feature of a mask. And you just kind of have to go around the edge, and it helps to zoom. That command plus, right? And you can kind of make your initial selection and just kind of try to get rid of all of that extra crud. And it doesn't have to be perfect at this point. You might want to go around and smooth away some of the edges, but it does not have to be perfect, because you can work with refining that edge. But I always find that the better the edge you start with, the less work it calls for down the road. So you can figure out the best way for working. There's no one way. And you're just using the bracket key to get in. Make your brush head smaller, all right? And I just kind of trying to. I'm a little impatient when it comes to this, so I'm kind of trying to blow through this fast. And I'm going to go up here and get rid of some of that dark edge. Okay, and I'm almost done here. I'm just going to get rid of this. Sometimes I just like grabbing the lasso tool and just kind of trying to work a little faster to make my selection. There we go. Oops. I have to fill it with black. Black. There we go. Yeah, well, yes, you can see there's kind of no... It's hard to work fast when you're making selections. But in any event, I just want to finish this up and try to get it as good as I can. All right. So then when you basically have your selection done, it's a little fast, but that'll be good. Then you have that first step done, and then it's just about refining the edge. If I double click on my layer mask, the little thumbnail, then I automatically go into the properties for my mask. And then here you can kind of work with smoothing and reducing the edge, shifting the edge a bit. And again, you kind of have to eyeball it, but that looks pretty good. And I really don't know. It's on this transparent background, so at this point, I would create a new layer, and I would fill maybe with a darker color. And there's my edge. Doesn't look too bad. There's a few little things going on here. You could always go back and refine your edge again if you wanted to, but essentially that's the technique.